Hello and welcome to Innovation with Leadership series by ETBFSI. In this series, we bring the top voices of the industry who are transforming the lending landscape through new tools and technology. Hello sir and welcome to the show. Let us begin the conversation with some basics. Can you just brief us about how the cloud infrastructure is playing its role in terms of transforming the BFSI space, specifically the new aspects coming into the picture, be it digital lending, AI credit ratings and others?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today. It's a very good question to start with, and I would like to take it into two parts. One, when we are talking about the large scale, when it comes to BFSI, it means that we are talking about huge numbers, huge traffic, and humongous number of bandwidth needed for these services. Let me give you some of the facts and figures that I have today. As of recent facts that we have, India by its own having 130 billion transactions per month, and 16 billions of it is just over UPI. So when we are talking about these numbers, you cannot compare it with any other country in the world. So it's a huge number of transactions in BFSI that is happening today. And when it comes to scale, then concerns started to coming up. When we are talking about concerns, obviously scaling is one of them. So the services, banks, financial services, and insurances, all they have limited bandwidth, limited number of servers, limited bandwidth with their own companies. So what we can do is, with the help of CDN, and VergeCloud coming into the picture, we can help them to decentralize their services and scale their services to n number of POPs all around the world, so accessibility will be high. In this way, they are not going to hit any spikes. And again, when it comes to the transactions, we have festivals in India, which is very famous, and every here and there, you will find a festival in India. All the time offers also going on. Based on these offers, many transaction services, banking and financial services, they will face spikes. And obviously, with the limited number of servers which they have, they are not able to handle it by themselves. This is again where CDN will come to the picture. By distributing the load and reducing the number of requests which is coming to the service. This is one of the use cases that we can help companies in BFSI. And secondly, we are talking about security. What I mean by security, again, coming back from scale to security is where, let me put it in this way, where scale is happening, possibility of having security breaches will increase. When you are exposing your service to more public and more, let's say, end users and clients, you may have more security breaches also coming to your servers. If you want to mitigate these kind of services, again, companies like us will come to the picture and start mitigating those risks, not on your end as a company, but on POP sites, which we will call it point of presence, where this is again distributed all around the world. And specifically, when we are talking about VergeCloud in India, it is distributed all around India, pan-India. And by that, we can mitigate security breaches and security risks as well.
Talking more about, because you mentioned that India is a big market, and the BFSI, specifically the banking, insurances, it has a very wide reach, and it is not a new thing that is there, but it's since ages. So one of the concern is compliance and data residency. So talking about the shift that the transition that the traditional banks have to face. So what challenges do you face, and what are the concerns that they raise specifically in these two aspects, the compliance and data residency?
Very good point. This is in fact the inception of VergeCloud. What we have in the market as cloud services, all our hyperscalers, all US listed companies, which are providing services to India. when we are talking about hyperscalers sitting in US, it means they are not going to cover all the concerns Indian companies have in India. And mostly they are focusing in US market. But they are obviously providing good services to India as well. But this is where we found the gap. And we thought, okay, let's have India first approach when it comes to CDN, WAF, and other security suites that we can provide. What I mean to say by that is, obviously we have RBI in the picture, we have DPDP rule which is coming up, and many other compliances that companies, they have to have it when they want to work in India market. So we came to this picture to provide those compliances on behalf of those companies. I mean, once our tool or platform become fully compliant and compliant friendly for India, they are not going to have any more concerns of being compliant in this market. So in this way, we are going to address that compliant issue that you were saying earlier. And being India first, what else can bring is our presence in India will be very much distributed and very much covered. So let me give you an example. Just Uttar Pradesh in India have maybe population of equal population of US, but number of POPs, point of presence, which I was saying, is much lesser than what we have in US. So comparing these two, it means that we need more infrastructure in not only tier 1, but also tier 2 and tier 3 cities in India. That's where, again, BFSIs like to give the services to the customers, because someone sitting in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, exactly they need the service which clients have it in tier 1 cities. That is, again, being distributed all around the country, having distributed POP sites, and giving those kind of services in terms of less latency, high security is needed.
Well, we talk about the compliance side, compliance aspect that the BFSI players are facing. Now, coming specifically to the work that you are doing, to the services that you are providing, tell us just some examples or with some observations that you have faced while bringing the customers on board. That what challenges that they face in terms of cloud infrastructure while you brief them or tell them about this mechanism. That what are the challenges that you face?
Good question. I can point out to two major points that we face. One is most of BFSIs, they don't like to share their private data publicly. And all the services we have in the market, like public cloud services, it's not feasible, it's not suitable for them. And they feel, okay, if I share something from my company on public cloud, it's no more secure. So what we thought here might be the solution is we brought some new disruptive technology called bring your own edge. What we are trying to tell to the customers is exactly what service we are having in our company, we are going to have it in client's company. Like they will have their own POPs, they will have their own infrastructure, they will have their own servers, but it is kind of managed service by us. It means we don't touch their data. They can have control over whatever data they have, but with the algorithm and platform we are providing to them, they can have that performance, low latency, high security in their own data centers and own in-house servers. So this is one level of bringing the security into these companies. And second layer, which we will discuss more and more, it's hybrid model. In hybrid model, we will have another layer on top of private cloud or own edge that they have, which will mitigate public attacks and public DDoS and public risks, breaches which they may face. I would like to add one more thing in this. Being in India for long and seeing the companies and concerns that they have, we feel that when it comes to using the platforms in a good way. Many companies, they have problem, mostly in BFSI. Let me explain you how it is. All the BFSI companies, they focus in their core business. So they obviously they have their own CISO, they have their own security layers in their company, they have their own IT departments. But again, those departments, they are very well known about what they need. When it comes to configuring it on the platforms, they may face problems. This is where new statistics and new reports said 40% of Fortune 100 companies, which are obviously largest companies around the world, they face security breaches just because of misconfiguration. This is the key word. Misconfiguration is in these companies are very high because they cannot utilize the platform in a good way. And there we need a good support. That's why we, again, being in India as India first cloud security platform, we are trying to be shoulder by shoulder and hand to hand with the customers, understand their needs, which is already there with their IT team and cybersecurity team, and we start implementing on our platform. They know their needs, we know our platform. So in this way, we can come to a conclusion that, okay, this would be the right configuration you need on the platform, and whenever you need any changes, we are there for you. This is the service that many hyperscalers in market, they are facing problem to provide.
I think you talked about the challenges, and the question that I'm going to put is almost covered, but still I want you to dig a little deep on this particular topic. You talked about misconfiguration in the companies. There are CISOs and CIOs, but still there is a support that is required because the whole ecosystem is new. If we see in the last 5 to 10 years, it is an evolving landscape. So tell us that, is there any misconception that they have, specifically the traditional lending players, because the financial ecosystem is something which all relies on trust. So is it something that you have faced, that some misconception is there, they are a little bit resistant in shifting towards this cloud infrastructure? Any observation you have?
Sure. One of the misconceptions we have in the market, and it is there for long, is when we are talking about cloud with the companies, mostly BFSI companies, they feel that they might lose their control. That's something they feel very, let's say, very scary. It's very gray area for them, which they don't like to enter. I think that also, after having these kind of evolution in the market, it's fully changed. When I was talking about bring your own edge, bring your own IP, or let's say bring your own private cloud, it means now cloud industry reaches to a level that can have the same features which we have on public cloud, exactly on private clouds, which is sitting in the companies. In that way, companies will be having a full feature and full, let's say, feature suite of cloud security platforms in their own company. And now with this much of changes has happened in the market, we believe there is no more point to worry about even public clouds. Now the providers who are providing public cloud, they reached a maturity level that it's no more dangerous. It's safe. And I think it's a good time to address this misconception and let them know that this is a trusted word, and IT for sure trying to bring more smooth and easy life to everyone.
Well, very meaningful thoughts that you have just shared. Now we have talked about the current infrastructure and the current scenarios. Now let's move towards the future. So with new tools and new tools coming into the BFSI space like blockchain and embedded finance, so how do you see the future of cloud in this evolving landscape?
Again, I would like to take this question from my point of view, which we are always talking about edge. I think when we are talking about embedded financial services, this is exactly where two different companies will come to a certain point. For example, let me give you an example. Amazon is going to provide some, let's say, items to customers and clients. And meanwhile, HDFC or any other bank is trying to give a loan on that product. This is where both the requests will come to a point. And again, when it comes to smoothness, when it comes to latency, what we call, it should be very minimum. Or maybe I have to say it should be with no latency. What I mean by no latency is once someone is clicking on the item to buy on the Amazon shopping list, concurrently and on the exact moment, one request should go to the HDFC bank, validate this person profile, and assess whether it is eligible to get the loan or not. This is, again, a huge number of requests and bandwidth is needed. And obviously, I'm not talking about Amazon, but the other companies in the market, they will face problem. And we can address it on edge itself. By having many servers all around India, we can just reduce the latency as much as we can. We don't promise in that way, but we think something as standard in the market, as norm, would be below 30 milliseconds. We can just connect these two companies, cross-check everything, and give the result to a buyer, which is going to buy the item at that moment. This is, I think, where we can help with, well, let's say, futuristic way of using edge services and cloud services.
Now let's take the conversation a little deep to the other components of cloud, specifically the hybrid cloud model. And do you believe that it is becoming the de facto architecture of BFSI players? And what could be the reason behind this?
Sure, I think the short answer is yes. BFSIs has their own difficulties with the regulatory bodies, let's say regulation guidelines and guardrails. And obviously, they cannot expose everything to the public network, public cloud. And this is, again, where hybrid model will come to the picture. Once they will be able to have both private cloud and public cloud, they will start using it more efficient. And the performance will be much, much higher than either of the options, fully public or on-premise. So in this scenario, what is going to happen? There will be 3 layers. One is the server which companies are using, any companies in BFSI sector. Obviously, it's data centers which they have and all that. Second layer will be the private cloud, which we can bring it into this scenario. It will be very customized and very tailor-made as per customer's need. And on top of that, we will have public cloud layer as well. Public layer cloud, what we'll do is we'll start mitigating the very high frequent attacks, let's say DDoS. DDoS attacks is happening very frequently, and public cloud can cover it very good because it is all distributed and they can mitigate it very well. Even it is cost benefit for, it is in fact a cost saving for the companies as well. Because they are not going to put resources on that, on mitigation the risks. On the private layer, they will provide whatever the core services they have. In private layer, let's say they are having many guidelines, many documents, many different things to share with the customers, let's say on any mobile banking app. In that layer, they are going to provide those kind of services like caching, WAF, DDoS mitigation and all. This is second layer. And obviously, when it comes to the data centers of their own, they are not going to face any breach because the other 2 layers already mitigated them.
So basically, if we see the last 5 years, specifically post-COVID period, the cloud adoption has been on a rise in a very positive sense. So tell me from your observation that in the coming 5 years, what are the biggest opportunity that you foresee in the BFSI space for the cloud infrastructure?
It's very difficult to predict what is going to happen because nowadays you can see that with the Gen AI and AI disruption in all the industries, we cannot expect and we cannot predict what is going to happen next. But still, we have somehow a clear picture what we can start taking out of it, and we can provide it as a company working in cloud industry. One of the things that we think these days is very crucial to protect is APIs. APIs is where, in fact, most of the BFSI companies, they are using it. And it means that two applications, they are talking to each other, in fact. This is now happening on the servers, on one layer below than what we are calling it cloud. So I think one of the disruption and one of the innovative items that we are going to have will be the API mesh. And API mesh, which is going to be on edge itself. Instead of APIs talking to each other on lower layers, it will be very futuristic, let's say, that APIs calls to each other in a mesh which is provided on edge servers and POP sites, which is again point of presence. And in that way, many security breaches will be minimized. This is something I can see very soon will be present in the market and companies will be able to use it. Secondly, when again we are talking about BFSI, they are having many computation at the now they are having it in their own servers, but very soon this also will be an edge. What I mean to say, there are many machine learning algorithms, there are many, let's say, other AI algorithms that they are working to check credibility of the people and many other things which it comes to the let's say insurance services or let's say bank validation services. Those kind of validations also can be something that is going to happen on edge. I think that also we are working on it, and very soon we are going to have good news about it, and it will make BFSI companies work very smooth and very easy. And third thing, which now we are hearing good news about it, is the Indian digital rupee. There also, if we think of blockchain, very soon it will be in the BFSI sector, and companies will start using it. In fact, some of the banks like Axis, they started already using it. But very soon it will be spread around all the banks because blockchain itself is a very good decentralized way of managing the transactions. And in that way, we can bring the security level of validating those transactions again on edge. That's where we can take the risk again from the servers which companies are using, and we can mitigate it on our edge level. I think these three would be very, let's say, upcoming technologies that we are going to see very soon.
Well, I believe let's tighten our seatbelts and look for the very transformative future, specifically in the BFSI and the lending landscape. But we talked about the challenges, we talked about the misconceptions, regulatory aspects. One thing which is very evident from the developments that are happening in the industry is that all the banks and insurers are slowly and gradually moving towards the cloud setup. So what are the, if we can get some specific answers, then what are the three drivers that you feel are moving this transformation, and the banks and insurers are moving towards the cloud infrastructure? What are the three drivers that you feel are there?
Let me ask something. If you mean a driver is something that we provide them, or they feel
in a both way, like why they feel that, okay, what are the positive aspects that are pushing them to move to that infrastructure, and what are the pulling factor from the companies like you that are bringing them on board?
Obviously, one of the first one is cost. Once companies get into a scale, get into competition in the market, so they have to find a scalable way, scalable approach for their company, which will be cost benefit as well, which will be cost saving as well for them. They cannot afford having a number of servers by their own, and they manage it by themselves. It's very difficult for them. I think one of the very good drivers for every one of us is cost. That is something I can point out. And secondly, again, competition in this market is like who comes first goes first. In that way, I think many fintech companies, let's say we didn't talk about fintechs at all, let's talk about them as well. Fintech companies, when it comes to the competition, they are going to release their product. There are other releases, like gradually releasing the sub-products and features and all. They have to be very quick in the market. And that quickness will come with the cloud. They cannot, again, afford to have it by their own, because having a new setup, having a new data center is a huge deal. And for sure, this is other driver that, for sake of competition, companies, startups, and fintechs, they can think of it. And one more thing is obviously regulations again and compliances. RBI, DPDP, they are, let me talk about DPDP more, because it's a new regulation came to India. This is like GDPR in Europe. India also is having its own version of it. It's very new to the market. Day by day, this rule is getting matured. Companies, again, they cannot afford to keep changing everything in their infrastructure by their own. They have to rely on some companies and some cloud providers to do that for them. Again, at that point is something that we can help, and it would be a very good driver to just don't think of it. Let's focus on their own core businesses and rely on us to do that for them.
Well, thank you so much, Amin, for giving your valuable time and decoding and explaining the cloud infrastructure aspects for our viewers and making it more clear for the BFSI industry.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much.
Thank you.